Welcome. Today we're going into some really unsettling territory. We're looking at these real-world situations, mysteries, hidden dangers, things that are happening kind of just below the surface of everyday life.
Exactly. These are the stories that make you really question things, from like strange appearances where you never expect them to threats hiding right under your nose.
Right. And our goal here is to sort of unpack these surprising, often disturbing facts and see what they tell us about, well, human behavior and how thin that line between feeling safe and facing something terrifying really is.
It's about how easily that sense of security can just vanish.
Okay, let's dive into this first one. If you grew up in the 80s, you probably remember arcades.
Oh, yeah. Dark rooms, flashing lights, all the sounds, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong.
Exactly. So picture this.
Yeah.
You're there, maybe about to play some Bally Sente Mini Golf. You put your quarter in, ready to go, and then the screen changes. But it's not the game.
It's a face, a kid's face. Grainy, digitized, a photo of a real missing child.
Which is just, wow. I mean, we saw missing kids on milk cartons back then.
Yeah.
That became a thing.
Right, that was becoming familiar. But seeing it suddenly pop up on an arcade machine, that was something else entirely. Games like that mini golf one, during the demo mode, would suddenly show faces like Taj Alan Marman or Stephen Philip Curtis.
So they just flashed up, like interrupted the game's attract mode. That's incredibly jarring.
Totally jarring. It wasn't like a poster you chose to look at. It was designed to, well, jump out at you. It was actually an experiment by a company called CTI Technologies.
An experiment? What were they trying to achieve?
They wanted to see if putting these faces in places where lots of kids hung out, like arcades, could help police find them. The thinking was sound, I guess, but, well, the success was pretty limited.
Yeah, I bet.
And the practice didn't really last long.
But the impact. I can imagine seeing that as a kid. It's not just a picture. The old digitization probably made them look kind of eerie,
Uncanny is a good word for it. Almost like something from a horror movie appearing in this place meant for fun.
Right. That unexpected dose of real-world fear. I can see how that would stick with you. Burn into your brain, like you said.
Absolutely. And it gets even more poignant when you look at what happened to the children featured. Taj Alan Marman, for instance. His story had a resolution, thankfully.
Okay, what happened with him?
It turned out to be a family abduction situation. He was actually found safe down in Georgia around July 1985. His mother was arrested for the abduction.
Wow. Okay, so at least one positive outcome.
Yes. And apparently there was even a feature on the arcade machines, like a setting, where the owner could mark a child as located. They think it was only ever used for Taj's image after he was found.
But what about the other boy you mentioned? Stephen Philip Curtis.
That's where it gets sadder and more mysterious. There's just nothing official online about what happened to him. People in forums, true crime communities, they've searched and searched.
And found nothing conclusive.
Nothing. His whereabouts, whether he's okay, it's all unknown. Some people found a Stephen P. Curtis near where he went missing, but it's such a common name, you just can't be sure.
So one found, one still missing. A really stark contrast.
It is. And they weren't the only ones. There were other faces too. Melinda Marie Smith, April Rosat, Daniel Godfrey Owens, Charles Brandon Morris. All their pictures were cycled through on these machines.
And Taj is the only one confirmed found out of that group.
As far as public records show, yes. And it wasn't automatic either. The arcade owner actually had to go into the machine's settings, like a dip switch menu, and turn on the displayed kids option.
Huh. So some owners might not have even activated it.
Exactly. It was an optional feature.
So these old cabinets are still out there, in collections, maybe some retro arcades.
Yeah, they are. Holding these digital relics of this failed experiment, photos of lost children just frozen in time inside a video game, their fates unknown mostly.
It makes you think, doesn't it? What does that mean for the families, for the kids themselves having their image preserved like that, tied to this sort of strange footnote in gaming history?
It's a really haunting legacy, a desperate attempt to help that became this sort of permanent, unresolved digital memorial. It raises questions about responsibility, especially with images of vulnerable people.
It really does. That's deeply disquieting. From those early digital ghosts, let's shift to something more modern, but just as chilling. The way predators can use the very platforms meant to connect us.
Social media. It can be amazing for connection, but yeah, it has a dark side. For some, it's become a place to hunt.
And that brings us to this really terrifying case from Japan. In 2017, over just 2 months, 8 young women, aged between 15 and 26, vanished. different areas around Tokyo.
Yet the one thing connecting them all. Before they disappeared, they'd all been in contact with this specific Twitter account. The name alone is chilling. Hanging Pro.
Hanging Pro.
Yeah.
Jesus. And the man behind it.
Takehiro Shiraishi. He quickly got the name the Twitter Killer. People who knew him described him as polite, almost quiet, but underneath, just emptiness. No empathy at all. And apparently he'd had this morbid fascination with ropes since he was young.
That's deeply unsettling. And he carried this into his adult life.
He did. After high school, he moved to Tokyo, worked as a scout in Kabukicho, the red light district, basically luring women into clubs or bars.
But he had issues with women face to face.
A crippling fear, apparently. So he turned to social media. He'd find women online, message them about night work. It worked, but people called him the creepy scout. Not just for his methods, but apparently he had this vacant stare, like he wasn't really there.
That's chilling in itself. Did he get into trouble for this before the murders?
Yeah, he actually got arrested and received a suspended sentence in 2017 for luring high school girls. After that, he lost his job, felt isolated, and moved to this small, rundown apartment in a place called Zama.
And instead of finding normal work?
He went back online. But this time, his scouting had a truly horrific goal.
Right. Using accounts like Hanging Pro, he started looking for young, lonely women online. How did he approach them?
He created these different personas. Sometimes he was like a guru who could help people end their suffering. Other times, just a really miserable guy looking for someone to commit suicide with. Initially, maybe he just wanted money, like a sugar mama, but it quickly turned much, much darker. He targeted the desperate.
Preying on vulnerability. Who was his first victim?
A 21-year-old named Mizuki Kimura. She actually moved in with him in August 2017. Things were okay at first, apparently, but then she started seeing another man, Shogo Nishinaka, and then Mizuki vanished.
And her friend Shogo.
About 5 days later, he went to Takehiro's apartment looking for Mizuki. He was never seen again either.
God, how fast did it escalate from there?
Incredibly fast. On August 23rd, Mizuki apparently told Takehiro she just saw him as a friend. That seems to have set him off. He incapacitated her, assaulted her, strangled her. When Shogo showed up asking questions, Takehiro killed him too. After that, there was no turning back for him.
He just fully embraced it.
Totally. He started using hashtags, looking for people expressing suicidal thoughts, promising he'd die with them. He always insisted on secrecy.
And the victims just kept coming.
7 more women after Mizuki and Shogo. Kura Ishihara, Natsumi Kubo, Hinako Sarashina, Kazumi Mariyama, Akari Suda, Hoemi Fujima. His method was chillingly consistent.
What was the pattern?
Lure them to his apartment, often with the promise of a suicide pact. Then he'd drug them, rob them, sexually assault them, and finally kill them, usually with rope. Apparently, many fought back, but he overpowered them.
And then the disposal.
Dismemberment in his bathroom. He threw most of the remains out with the regular trash, but he kept parts, heads, arms, legs stored in coolers and wooden boxes in his tiny apartment. He used cat litter to try and mask the smell.
How did no one notice?
Neighbors later said they smelled something foul, but they just thought it was the building's plumbing or drains.
Unbelievable. So how did he finally get caught?
It was the 9th victim, Aiko Tamura. She went missing on October 23rd. Her brother got really worried, managed to access her Twitter account, and found the messages exchanged with Takehiro.
He put it together.
Yes. He contacted another woman Takehiro had been messaging, and she bravely agreed to help the police set up a sting operation.
Wow. That took courage.
Absolutely. So on Halloween night 2017, undercover police went to Takehiro's apartment. When they confronted him, asked where Aiko was, he just pointed to one of the cooler boxes.
And said, "She's in there, just like that."
Coldly.
My God. And the boxes contain
The remains of all 9 victims, DNA, phone records, CCTV, it all confirmed their identities quickly. He'd been killing at a rate of more than 1 person a week.
And he showed no remorse.
None whatsoever. In court, he said he regretted nothing. He even apparently laughed when his defense tried to claim he was just helping people who wanted to die. He stated very clearly, not a single one of my victims consented.
Just pure evil. What was the sentence?
Death penalty. Handed down on December 15th, 2020. The judge said he trampled on the dignity of the dead.
Is he still alive?
As far as public records show, yes. And disturbingly, there are reports he's still trying to find a wife from prison. But in Japan, they don't tell death row inmates their execution date until the morning it happens.
So every day he wakes up.
Wondering if today's the day. And when it happens, the method of execution in Japan is hanging. So, fittingly, it will be at the end of a rope,
It's horrifying how he twisted that desire for connection, that loneliness people feel online, into a weapon.
It really shows how digital spaces can amplify the absolute worst aspects of human behavior, exploiting empathy like that. It's chilling.
And while that's a terror found online, there's another kind of violation, maybe even more primal. The threat that isn't outside, but is already inside your home.
Right. This brings us to something called frogging.
Frogging, what exactly is that?
It's the act of secretly living inside someone else's house without them knowing. It sounds like an urban myth, doesn't it?
It really does, like something out of a scary movie.
But it's real. There are hundreds of documented cases. Usually the person doing it, the frog, just wants to stay hidden, maybe steal some food or use the shower, observe. They avoid confrontation.
Usually.
But sometimes it becomes something much, much worse.
And you have a specific case?
The Campbell family. Brittany and James Campbell, they were a military couple stationed in Hawaii back in 2019, had 2 young sons. They found this house, 2 stories, quiet street. Thought it was paradise.
But things started happening.
Small things at first, weird things. Stuff in their garage would be moved around. Brittany kept hearing noises, doors closing, floorboards creaking upstairs, rummaging sounds. But she could never find anything.
This slow build of unease.
Exactly. James started finding doors unlocked when he knew he'd locked them. Personal items moved. One time, their computer webcam was on, but they hadn't turned it on.
Creepy.
And then the really disturbing part. One day, James was inside and saw a silhouette of a man looking in through a window. The figure then just bolted.
Okay, that's terrifying. So they knew someone was maybe targeting them.
They were definitely unnerved. They actually decided to take a vacation for a week, maybe just to clear their heads, get away from the weirdness.
The horror was waiting for them when they got back.
Oh, yes. They returned on September 20th. James noticed his bike, which he was sure he'd locked inside the garage, was now sitting outside the house.
Red flag right there.
Huge red flag. He told Brittany and the kids to wait in the car. He went to the front door, tried to open it, and felt resistance. Someone was pulling it shut from the inside.
No way. What did he do?
He managed to force the door open just enough to peek inside. He locked eyes with a stranger, a young guy, maybe early 20s. And the stranger just says to him calmly, "This is not your house."
Chills. Just absolute chills.
Yeah.
In his house.
In his house. James managed to push his way in. The intruder was wearing James's clothes. James, thinking fast, actually grabbed a sledgehammer he had nearby and used it to basically corner and restrain the guy while Brittany called 911.
Resourceful? But the scene inside
Was deeply disturbing. Almost everything in the house had been rearranged. Pots and pans stacked neatly on the counter, James's music equipment laid out. Their son's room was perfectly clean. And the worst part.
What?
On James and Brittany's bed, several knives from their kitchen were laid out, carefully placed, like surgical tools on an operating table.
Oh my God. That implies planning. Something awful.
Exactly. But the really mind-blowing discoveries came from the family's laptop.
What did they find?
The intruder had used it. He left a video recording of himself, a bizarre, deranged parody of a makeup tutorial. He had also kept a digital diary.
A diary.
About what?
About them, detailing their movements, their private conversations, proving he'd been living inside their walls, watching and listening for months.
Months? How is that even possible? Where was he hiding?
We'll get to that. But the most chilling thing on the laptop was a document he'd created. The title was The Omnivore Trials, a rehabilitation of rat-like people.
Omnivore trials? What on earth is that? It was his manifesto, a detailed, completely insane plan to surgically alter the Campbell family. He referred to them as omnivores and wanted to transform them into Ezekiels, presumably named after himself.
Transform them how? Surgically.
Yes. The document talked about transplanting their hands, removing, quote, certain unnecessary organs. He'd researched surgical tools, how to perform operations. They found pills they believe were intended to sedate the family.
This is beyond terrifying.
Yeah.
He planned to operate on them.
It seems so. There was even a calendar entry on James's computer that the intruder must have made. It read, "Your rehabilitation starts today. Do as I did, choose a house, clean it, set up all devices."
So the vacation, it interrupted his plan.
It seems like it. If they hadn't gone away, they might have woken up to him starting his rehabilitation.
Unimaginable. And this guy, this Ezekiel, who was he?
Authorities identified him as 23-year-old Ezekiel Zas. And where had he been hiding all that time?
Where?
In the crawl space. Above the family's second-floor bathroom. Just living up there, watching them.
Living in the walls. That's the stuff of nightmares. What happened to Zas?
He was arrested, obviously. Got released initially, bizarrely, but then was rearrested in 2020 for vandalizing a Buddhist temple. While he was locked up for that,
He did something else.
he attacked his cellmate, a 62-year-old man, beat him, stomped on his head, completely unprovoked. The cellmate died.
So he killed someone.
Yes. He pled guilty to manslaughter and got sentenced to 40 years in prison.
And the Campbells?
They left Hawaii, moved back to the mainland U.S. But, I mean, after something like that, can you ever really feel truly safe in your own home again?
I can't even imagine. It's not just the physical intrusion. It's the complete violation of your sanctuary, your peace of mind.
Exactly. It shatters that fundamental sense of safety. It forces you to realize that sometimes the most terrifying threats aren't outside trying to get in. They might already be inside.
These stories, the arcade ghosts, the Twitter killer, the man in the crawl space, they really expose these hidden horrors, don't they? And the chilling ingenuity some disturbed people have.
It shows how thin that line is between what we think is safe, normal reality, and something truly terrifying.
It really makes you stop and think.
So the question we leave you with is this. In a world where bizarre experiments leave digital ghosts in games, where predators use the tools meant to connect us, and where people can literally live unseen in our homes, what does that mean for us? What kind of vigilance, what kind of understanding do we need now to navigate this?
It's definitely something to mull over. Thank you for joining us for this particularly unsettling deep dive. We hope it gave you something to think about, even if it's uncomfortable.
And if you found this exploration into the darker corners of reality compelling, please consider supporting our channel, Horror Docx.
Yeah, give us a like, share this with someone who appreciates these kinds of stories, and definitely hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our future deep dives. We appreciate you listening.